Yeah, I just pushed.
At least they removed that none sound.
Yeah, that was so bad, huh?
Even they realized.
Yeah.
Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 45. Panchachatvarinshad. Prayatna yatmanastu yogi sankshuddha kilbashah. अनेक जन्म संसिद्धस ततो याति पराम गति याति यहाँ पर आपण है विडिट यहाँ पर आपण है राइट याति
Yeah. Adadi.
यदैवं मंद प्रयत्नः अपि योगी पराम गति याति ओके यदा एवं मंद प्रयत्नः अपि योगी पराम गति याति तदा यस्तु योगी प्रयत्नात् उत्तरोत्तरम् अधिकं योगे यतमानः यत्नं कुर्वन् योगेन एव संशुद्धकिल्बिषः विधूतपापः सः अनेकेषु जन्मसु पचितेन जन्मसु ओके जन्मसु उपचितेन योगेन upachitana is like increasing yoga. We have upachita and apachita. In Bhagavatam it is there. Upachita and apachita. Yeah, increasing. And apachita is must be decreasing. Yeah, diminishing. So upachitena yogena संसिद्ध सम्यक् ज्ञानी भूत्वा ततः श्रेष्ठां गतिं याति इति किं वक्तव्यम् इति अर्थः.
This is yada evam, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yada evam. Yada evam manda prayatnopi yogi param gatim yati. So when a yogi who just has a little effort, when a yogi he just makes a little effort, obtains the param gatim, tada yastu yogi prayatnad uttarottaram adhikam yoge yatamanaha yatnam kurvan yogena eva samshuddha kilvishaha vidutapapaha. So anakeshu janmasupa. Anakeshu janmasu upachitena means after passing through many lives.
Yeah, in different lives.
Anekeshu.
In many lives.
Yeah.
With like increased, intense,
Upachitena
like,
yogena samsiddhi.
Samajnani bhutva. Shreshtham gatim yati. So a yogi, yes, to yogi, prayatnat uttaram adhikam yogi yatmana, who puts more and more effort, like, or successive or increasing.
Increasingly
efforts,
more effort.
Increasingly more efforts, yatnam kurvan. Then when he does so, then yogena eva samshuddha kilvisha. So he becomes pure of his sins, impurities, by the yoga process only, nothing else. Then vidhuta papa, and then he becomes vidhuta papa, samshuddha kilvisha, same thing.
Yeah.
Then saha, he anekeshu janmasu, in many lives, upachitena yogena, by the increasing yoga, the intense, increasing yoga.
Yeah. So it's by yoga increased in many lives, right?
Yeah, right. Sangsiddha, he becomes Sangsiddha, which means he becomes Samyak Jnani.
Yeah.
Then, being that, Bhutva Tata Shreshtam Gatanyati, then he attains the superior destination Shreshtam Gati iti kim vaktavyam. Then what else to be said? Like what to be said more?
Yeah.
Iti artha.
Yeah.
So
here, Param Gatim in the beginning just means a higher destination.
it's the same thing.
Something
Param Gatim. Yeah, higher Param Gatim.
like rather than like maybe they don't attain moksha, but they attain like Swarga or something like that. Right? Because it's only the Samyak Jnani who attains
No,
moksha.
actually, what I'm
Shreshtam Gati.
understanding is Param Gati and Shreshtam Gati are the same thing mentioned here. So it's just like a person, because he says Manda Prayatna Api.
Yeah.
He also attains this Gati. Then what to speak of? Iti kim vaktavyam. What to speak of a person who endeavors more, and so on. So the same Gati.
Yeah, I guess it just logically raises the question in my head that why would I endeavor more then?
Right.
If I'm going to get the same, I could just be Manda Prayatna. Why would I endeavor to be Samyak Jnani? It seems a little redundant.
I mean, yeah, it will happen. Krishna never leaves one who comes in contact with him once in his life. So yeah, Krishna will take care. He will drag me to his dham. Like Prabhupada says that Krishna literally drags the devotee.
Yeah. Nectar of instruction.
So, oh, Krishna is there to drag me. Why shall I drag myself? Okay, yasmad evam tasmat. What is this? Okay, yasmad evam tasmat. Because it is like this, therefore, tapasvibhyo dhiko yogi ज्ञानिभ्यो pi matodhikah कर्मेभ्यश्चाधिको योगी
Tasmad yogi
तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन कृच्छ्र चांद्रायणादि तपोनिष्ठेभ्यः अपि ज्ञानिभ्यः शास्त्र ज्ञानवद्भ्यो अपि कर्मेभ्यः इष्टापूर्तादि. We did this, na?
Yeah.
Ishtapurtadi. There was one difference in Ishta and Apurta, if you remember. Some difference was some difference was there between these two. Ishta Apurtadi Karma Karyabhyopi Yogi Shrestha Abhimata. So the yogi is considered Abhimata, Shrestha, superior. Even then, the tapasvis who are determined basically nishtha in austerities like kritra is like tuch.
Difficult, huh?
No, I mean kritra could be difficult, but sounds good when in the sense of tuch. Okay, painful.
I was just thinking because tapa, so
Yeah,
kritra tapa.
Kritra, right. So yeah, difficult. Those who are determined into difficult austerities like Chandrayana and so on, then yogis are considered superior to the jnanis who are Shastra Jnanvan or Vanta. Who possesses the knowledge of Shastra. Then they are also superior to the karmis who are the performer karibhya of karmas like Ishta, Apurta and so on. Tasmatvam yogi bhava. Therefore, you become a yogi. Yoginam api yamaniyamadi. Okay. Sorry. Yoginam api yamaniyamadi paranam madhye madbhaktah shrestha itya. Amongst the yogis who are practicing paranam, who are inclined,
Yeah.
inclined would be a good word, inclined towards yama, niyama, and so on. So amongst them, even madbhaktah shrestha ityaha, my devotee is great, supreme or superior, supermost.
Mm.
Then yoginam api sarvesha madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samayuktatamo mataha. Madgatena maya saktena antaratmana. Wow.
Mm.
So with the mind, okay, atmana is equal to manasa. With the mind, antar atmana is mind, the inner self, the mind, which is attached
Mayi
to
asaktena.
maya asakt, in me, like maya. So yah mam parameshwaram vasudevam shraddha yukta san bhajate. So with such a mind attached to me, one who worships me, who serves me, bhaj sevayam, um, who am the Parameshwara Vasudev, and he serves me with faith. Shraddha Yukta son. So it's very obvious that one who's asakta in Krishna he must be faithful.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Shiva Swami mentioned it. So Yoga Yukteshu. I mean, is it possible if someone is attached to the Lord but he doesn't have any faith? Like,
No, I don't think so.
yeah, same way. So
But
Yoga
I guess it is a bit of an extrapolative gloss because it's Mudgatena that he's glossing as Mayasaktena. Because Mudgatena just means resorted to me, right? Or gone to me. Has come to me. Whereas Mayasaktena means attached to me.
Right.
And
So
then he
then,
just has to treat Shraddhavan because it's part of the verse.
Sa yoga yukteshu shrishtaha mama sammataha. So it is, I consider it, or it is my consideration that he is superior to those who are engaged in the processes of yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga yukteshu.
Ato madbhakto bhava.
Ataha madbhaktaha bhava iti bhava. Therefore, the sense is you become my devotee.
I guess also if we look at it the other way, it's possible to have faith though and not be attached.
Yeah, that's I mean, we are sakshi for that. I'm like, at least myself.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, Shraddha is also like, it's the game of Shraddha, according to Mother Kadambini, throughout. So that's also there. But yeah, a pinch of it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking this morning, just like having darshan, that generally devotees, they lose their interest in bhakti mostly because of aparadhas, according to our shastras and acharyas.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of Ajamila. He never committed any aparadha.
He did though.
How?
Sri Vishwanath explains actually his main aparad was that I was just talking about this morning. It's a funny coincidence. His main aparad was that previously he was a Karmakandiya Brahmana. And so he was performing offense number 8. He equivocated the holy name with the Artavad of the Vedas. And so actually that's the reason why he didn't get the effect the first time he chanted the name. It was only when he chanted it on his deathbed, because that was finally when the aparad had left him. Sri Vishwanath actually explains that through all of his sinful activities, he exhausted the piety that he had gained from being a Karmakandiya Brahmana. And when that was finally exhausted, that offense was no longer there of equating the holy name with the Artavad statements of the Vedas. And then because the aparad left, that's why the holy name acted.
And
it's really interesting.
It's mentioned, like Vishwanath mentions it.
Yes. In 6.2.9 or 6.2.11, whichever one is he gives a very long purport where he basically talks about the whole chapter in like 10 or 15 pages.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool because he goes through all the doubts there about why the holy name doesn't act, even though it's said to be so powerful. And he talks about the aparads, particularly in the context of a Jamil's story. And he says this is the only way we can understand a Jamil's story, is that he was a Karmakandiya Brahmana, and he had this offense that had to go away before the holy name would reveal its power.
Okay, I got the answer. Okay, Atma Yogam Avochat. Here it comes. Avochat. Vacham me.
Yeah.
So Atma Yogam Avochat Yo Bhakti Yoga Shiromanim Tam Vande Paramanandam Madhavam Bhakta Shevadhim. Oh, Shevadhim. Bhakta Shevadhim, is it? What is Shevadhim?
Yeah.
Wealth? Okay. Wealth of devotees.
So whose wealth is the devotees?
Oh, yeah.
Bhaktaha Shevadihi.
Whose wealth of the devotees?
Oh yeah, it could also be Bhaktasya Shevadim.
Yeah, both ways.
But we could read it either way, huh? Because his wealth is also his devotees.
It's like Rameshwara.
Say again.
It's like Rameshwara. So both ways. So yaha Atma Yogam Avochat, one who spoke the science of the self, or Atma Yogam, science of the self.
Yeah. Or the process for attainment of the self.
Yeah, Atma Yoga. Then Tam Bhakta Yoga Shiromani. Bhakti Yoga Shiromani. Bhakti Yoga Shiromani. Okay, actually, Bhakti Yoga Shiromani is connected to Atma Yoga again.
Yeah.
So, yaha Bhakti Yoga, Atma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga Shiromani Avochat. One who spoke Atma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga Shiromani. Or basically, Bhakti Yoga Shiromani, Atma Yoga.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Visheshana and Visheshya. So, Tam Bhakta Shevadim Paramanandam Madhavam Vande. I offer my obeisances to him who is the wealth of the devotees, or for whom the devotees are the wealth, and so on. So, who is Paramananda and who is Madhava. Tam Vande. Sridhar Swami doesn't mention like the Madhurya Vachak names of Krishna. Like we have two types of names, na? Gaun and Mukhya.
Yeah.
So he sticks to like Madhava, Vasudeva. Like till now, at least, he doesn't.
They're Mukhya Nama, right? They're just not Vrindavan Nama necessarily. I think Gauna Namas are like Ishwara.
Yeah, actually, that's also there.
Jagannatha is usually considered a Gauna, because it's like him in relation to the world.
Right.
But you're right, he doesn't speak. Sometimes he says Krishna, but he doesn't. He usually says like Madhava, Vasudev.
Madhava is one of his favorite, I've seen.
Yeah. He says Hari sometimes also.
Hari is also.
He's doing he's worshipping Nrsimhadev.
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitaya Sridhar Swami Virachitayam Subodhinyam Tikayam Adhyatma Yoga Nama Shashtodhyaya.
And now we're just getting closer to the real nectar. We're coming to the 7th chapter, 7 through 10 are just all kinds of amazing bhakti statements.
Okay. Hmm.
The test that your students took yesterday, was that the Parapada Prakriya?
Half of it actually.
Half. I was thinking,
Like
wow, they're moving fast.
actually they are moving. They want to go slow, but I'm uh, trying to keep the pace,
Mm,
the momentum basically. Even
mm,
though we are lagging by 2 months, according to the schedule and all, but it's fine with me. They wanted a break for Karthik. So I said I'm personally I'm okay, but it's like the Vedversity and the seniors.
yeah,
So we need to work according to them.
yeah, for sure.
But it was nice actually. I gave some tricky questions.
Did they do well?
I need to check actually. I didn't check it.
I see.
But
Oh,
generally they do good. They do good.
at least the one who's making those charts is gonna do well.
Did you see them?
Yeah, you showed me.
No, I also shared the link in.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't looked personally. I just saw what you
Okay.
showed. I didn't have a chance yet.
Yeah, that project is doing very good actually.
Yeah. Does he
uh,
have the resources to check
to check what?
what because he's doing all of them, right? Like,
Right.
so does he have like
I
you know
mean, we
that
we
one
have the
website?
website sanskritabhyas.in.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So that's one, and because that is based upon Panini, so there are some variations, some differences sometimes. So, for example, we were doing this Aj Dhatu.
Yeah.
Ajgato se Ajairvighanam Vinaraman Dhatu ke. So now there it is showing optional forms, one time with Aj and one time with V, even when Harinamamrit is considering just V, not Aj.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are many differences like that there. So uh, then he means we consult each other. He asks me or like that.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
course.
that's good.
So need to again recheck it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's good actually. We are having some database, and it's searchable also.
Yeah. Well, and also it's just very good for him,
Hmm.
to go through that process. Like, it's been very good for me. Now I do that. I don't just take anything out of the book at
Hmm.
face value, especially if I come across something I can't understand. I go and
Hmm.
look for it and try to figure out, and if I see like a sutra that should be applicable, and then I check that website, and other websites to see like, oh, is that possible? Like that. And there have been a couple because they didn't finish editing this book, so
Hmm.
it's natural only.
Yeah, two devotees. They remind me of Vijay Prabhu.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, like because Vijay Prabhu also would be very curious and inquisitive,
Yeah.
with actually with minute details really.
Yeah.
So the two devotees are very minute.
Yeah, I both appreciate that. And also for myself, I just see the practicality of getting through everything once, and then the
Hmm.
details will kind of fall in place on the second time. That's the way I kind of look at it. It's only if it causes a problem for me that I
Hmm.
then, seek through it. Cause I know there's just no way you're not even meant to catch everything the first time all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's good. It just means the brain is on, when you're doing that. It means that they're in it.
Yeah.
So that's what it takes with this. Otherwise, you'll just get lost.
Okay. So then, okay, let's go through this. At this point, it is necessary to explain some of the basic meanings of each case. We'll do this by using the word suhrit and as an example, since it doesn't require any special rules. Save and accept the deletion of su by Radha Vishnu and so on. For the sake of clarity, Sandhi is not done. Prathama is used to indicate the subject of a verb in an active sentence or the object of a verb in a passive sentence. So, yeah, active is kartari, passive is karmani. So, suhrid vadati, the friend speaks, active. Suhrid shlishyati, the friend is embraced. To be frank, actually, what according to what I have learned and seen, observed, no one really speaks of Parapada and Atmapada concepts. The main concepts which everyone talk of is the Kartari and Karmani concepts.
Yeah.
Means, and even I was trying to go through few books, few primers, and so on. No one really speaks of Parapada and Atmapada concepts. And
in the West, they don't even admit that it's like a real thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they say. I mean, I haven't. It comes in Karaka, right?
Right.
But yeah, in the West, they say, oh, you know, some people say that Atmapada, you know, Atmanepada and Paramasmaipada or Parasmaipada, that these mean different things, but basically it's not true. And so we're not going to deal with that because the rules aren't clear.
This is obvious that there is very subtle difference between the Atmapada and Parapada thing.
Yeah.
Like meaning wise, very subtle.
Yeah.
So mainly it's Kartari and Karmani. Then Dvitiya is used to indicate the object of a verb in an active sentence. Sometimes this case is expressed in English by the use of the preposition to. So, Suhridam Pashyami, I see a friend. Suhridam Vadami, I talk to a friend. Suhridam. Tritiya is used to indicate the instrument, or in other words, the means by which an action is accomplished. It is expressed in English by the use of prepositions by or with. Tritiya is also used in India. We have this funny, not funny, like a table which practically everyone can say. Karta ne, karma ko, karan se. I don't know if you have heard that before.
No.
In Hindi, like the prepositions in Hindi, like here we have to, you, with, by, and so on. So in Hindi we have the Hindi prepositions, of course, for karakas. Yeah. So practically 90 people out of 100 can say this out anywhere in India. Because in schools we are made to memorize this. Karta ne, karma ko, karan se, apadan ke liye, sampradan se, and so on.
So I see the meaning of each of the little prepositions.
The meaning of each in Hindi. So it becomes easy to understand and to teach also. So here it's Tritiya is also used to indicate the subject of a verb in a passive sentence, and this is also expressed with the preposition by. Suhrid karena khadati. The friend eats with his hand. Suhrid shlishyate krishnena. The friend is embraced by Krishna. So krishnena suhrid shlishyate or suhrid krishnena shlishyate, whatever way.
Yeah.
So Chaturthi is used to indicate the beneficiary who is the indirect object of a verb. Indirect object.
It's like the second object. So the direct object is the thing being given. Because the verb acts directly on the object. The dati, right. The thing which is given, is the danam.
It is expressed in English by the use of the preposition to. Suhride danam dadami. I give a gift to a friend. Suhride. Panchami is used to indicate the source, and it's from in English. Suhridah danam prati grihnami. I receive a gift from a friend. Shashti is used to indicate possession or intimate relation. it is expressed by the apostrophe s or of. So suhridah griham, the house of a friend, the suhridah putraha, a friend's son. Suhridah. Suhridah. Suhridam sarvabhutanam. That is suhridam.
Yeah.
That's 2-1. Saptami is used to indicate the location, and suhridi vishwasaha, confidence in a friend. This adhikarana point is also elaborately explained in Karaka. Adhikarana.
Yeah.
Jiva Goswami really goes in great details in Karaka because there is nothing to decline, so it's all about different concepts and all.
Yeah, I'm excited. It looks like it's going to be quite technical and difficult, but I'm excited. How did you find it when you
It
got?
was, I mean, it is technical, but if we go with the flow, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, Karaka and Kridanta, even Samasa is also interesting, but because Samasa and Tadita, they are both very lengthy, especially Tadita.
I see.
So there may be a chance to, when will it get over? Yeah, feelings like that. It just goes on. So many exceptions and this and that. But Karak and Kridanta, they are very confined, not so lengthy and straight to the points. No, not much exceptional points there, exceptional sutras there.
I see.
Very interesting. Really very interesting. So Sambodhana, so Suhridi Vishwasa, Suhrid Grihe Asti. The friend is at home. Sambodhana is used to address somebody. Hey Surid, oh friend. One more thing is that Sanskrit Karaka is very much related to like Karakas in English or in Hindi also. So that also helps because we have that common sense of our languages.
Yeah.
So that's also
because it's basically philosophy of language, huh?
Yeah, actually.
Like what's being dealt with there. That's what I've gathered.
Each of these cases, however, has many other meanings. These meanings will be explained in Karaka, of course. Okay, then Tashavatara Damshasora Ramaharaha. Sutre Pratyaya Rupa Nimittad Anyasya Hara Api Mahara Iti. This Hara informs us that the Hara of something other than a Nimitta in the form of a Pratyaya in a Sutra is also considered a Mahara. Pratyaya Rupa Nimitta. So Am is Pratyaya and a cause. Let's say causative Pratyaya. So Anyasya Hara Api Mahara. Dashavtaradam Shasur Mahara. Aramahara. This Hara informs us that the Hara of something other than Nimitta in the form of a Pratyaya in a Sutra is also considered a Mahara.
So this isn't Mahara because it's a Hara of a Nimitta.
Because see, it here says is also considered. It means this is also considered Mahara. Looks like the language. Sutre Pratyaya Rupa Nimittadanyasya Haro Api Mahara. Hara Api.
Weird though, because this is a Nimitta. It's the Pada Nimitta.
Right.
And it's part of a Pratyaya. Oh, so it's Mahahara and it's and things other than it are also Mahahara?
Mahara, yeah. Therefore, the change to Trivikrama doesn't take place because in Sutra 46, the Nimitta is just an Ekatmaka. So because it is Mahahara.
Wait.
This Hara informs us that the Hara of something other than Nimitta in a Sutra is also considered a Mahahara. Yeah, so Hara is considered as Mahahara.
I don't understand what he's saying.
But
therefore, the change to Trivikrama doesn't take place because in Sutra 46, the Nimitta is just an Ekatmaka.
Dashavatārikātmake
Yeah.
Militva. So that is not applied here because it's deleted Mahara.
We're saying it doesn't take place because this is applied before, but it wouldn't take place even if this was regular hara.
Yeah, looks like. So
So I don't
Amrita,
understand. Yeah.
Animitta is just an example. So
Well, one question I have is sometimes you do apply transformations as if the previous thing were still there intact.
yes.
Like, I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but maybe that's why it's.
He's gonna
You know
deal
what I'm
with
saying?
it. Amrita's gonna deal with this. Maybe not your question because it's more broad, but at least this particular.
Specifically, okay, yeah. We'll just read on. That's fine.
So Amrita says that someone may argue in Krishna, why isn't Dashavatārikātmake Nitva Trivikrama applied? Since the deleted Arama is considered like the original Sthanivat.
Which is what you're talking about, Lokro.
Yeah.
So okay, we had that maxim, right? There was a maxim there. Anyhow, so as it is not stated here that a Rama should undergo Mahahara, Jiva Goswami addresses this concern with the sentence beginning Haroyam. The word sutre here means Shankita Vidhi Sutre. In a Vidhi Sutra which is suspected to be applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Where does it say Sutre?
So right at the beginning, Sutre Pratyaya.
Yeah, Sutre Pratyaya.
So he's saying
So,
that means Shankita Vidhi Sutre.
Shankita Vidhi Sutre. In a Vidhi Sutra which is suspected to be applicable. In the Sutra ordaining Trivikrama which is suspected to be applicable, the of isn't a nimitta in the form of a pratyaya. Rather, it is a nimitta that is just an ekatmaka.
What? But it isn't a pratyaya. Is a pratyaya.
The form isn't a nimitta in the form of pratyaya. Dashavatārikātmake Litva Trivikrama. Okay, their ekatmaka is the paranimitta, not pratyaya arame, like according to what it is saying.
Say that
it is means Dashavatārikātmake Militva says that it is the ekatmaka that is the paranimitta, ekatmake.
Yeah.
And it's not specifically like pratyaya or rame, something like that. According to what it is saying here. So, okay, let's read. So, in the sutra ordaining Trivikrama, which is suspected to be applicable, the of isn't a nimitta in the form of a pratyaya. Rather, it is a nimitta that is just an ekatmaka. Therefore, since the undergoes mahahara by the current sutra,
I think what he's saying is that this is more specific, since this sutra ordains the removal of then it's removed because it's more specific than the ordainment of the Trivikrama that happens because of an ekatmaka. But that still doesn't explain the Stanivat part.
So then it says that therefore,
so that's the next. Yeah, okay.
If the Arama were to become Trivikrama by Sutra 46, then the current rule ordaining Hara would be meaningless. Therefore, this Hara is considered a Mahahara.
So this is a more specific rule than Dashavatārikātmake Militva Trivikramaha, and if we were to apply it, then the current rule would be meaningless.
Now, someone may further argue that in the next sutra, since Shas is the paranimitta, how can the Dashavatara become Trivikrama? As Shas no longer exists when the of Shas is deleted by the current sutra.
Is that Dashavatara Trivikrama Shasi Tasmat Sonaha Pumsi?
And to settle this doubt, Jiva Goswami speaks the sentence beginning Ekadesha Vikritam Ananyavat. So the point is when the arm of Shas is deleted, So the argument may be, how can Dashavatara become Trivikrama as Shas no longer exists when the A of Shas is deleted by the current sutra? So Jiva Goswami says that even if there is some vikara, transformation, it still remains the same. Ekadesha vikritam anyavat.
Yeah.
The resultant meaning of the sentence is that even though the A of Shas thus undergoes hara, the Sa of Shas is still called Shas in accordance with the maxim Ekadesha vikritam ananyavat. Yeah, that's all. Then the Shavdara Sitrik Pranashasi Aramanta Krishna Sangha. Aramanta Krishna Sangha. This is a Sangha Sutra. Someone may say it would have been proper to assign this name right when we began the declension of the word Krishna. Everyone thinks this. Why then it is assigned only now when the declension of the first two cases of the word Krishna has already been completed? The answer is that the three sutras beginning with Sarama Ityadi are general rules that also apply to words ending in Irama and Urama. But from now on, the sutras deal exclusively with words ending in Arama. Okay.
Simple.
Okay, we read a very nice point today in the other class. Which page was that? It was talking the difference between Paranimitta and Vishaya Saptami. Okay, let me just recall it. Paranimitta and Vishaya Saptami. Where were we? Gupu? Was it Gupu? Solution.
Gupu Dupu Vichi Pani Pani Bhaya.
Somewhere around that. A very good point actually about Paranimitta, and yeah, it's there only. Gopayate. Right. Aramharo, Ramadhatuke. And
There was something there.
yeah, I'm just so basically what happened was, like, we have the form Gopayate. So this sutra, Aya Iyam Kamening Charam Dhatu ke Tuva. It says, first of all, we have the sutra Gupu Dhuva Vichi Pani Pani Bhe Aya. That after those dhatus, we insert Aya. Then this sutra says that Aya is optionally inserted when a Ram Dhatuka follows. So when we decline Gup Yuktate Karmani, which is, and Te is a Krishna Dhatuka.
Yeah.
But we are not inserting Aya here because of Bhavini Bhutvad Upchara. Because Te is not a Ram Dhatuka, it's a Krishna Dhatuka. So by Bhavini Bhutvad Upchara, we are assuming or considering yak to have already been inserted.
Yeah.
And that's why we are applying Aya Iyam Kamening Charam Dhatu Ketva, and then we get Gupyate. So here the discussion was yeah, this one, Samshodhani. If the word Ram Dhatuke in the sutra Aya Iyam Kamening Charam Dhatu Ketva were taken as a Vishaya Saptami, there would be no fear of contradiction because the pratyaya would not actually have been applied, but would only have been mentally conceived. So if we consider Ram Dhatuke as Paranimitta, then it would be wrong.
Wow.
Because, good point, huh?
Yeah, the funny thing is I like the point he makes about mental conception.
Yeah,
but that's how I do it every time I work this out, whenever it comes up. Because immediately the first one comes, Kupu Dupa Vichi Pani Pani Ba Aya, and then Ayang Commanding Charamadatuke.
Yeah.
So it's like before it even goes down, you think about Aya, but then there's a Ramadan coming, so now we have an optionality. And then the further point is that only works if it's Vishaya Saptami.
Yeah, so in other words, when there is a desire to use a Ram Dhatuka, desire to use, not yet used, Aya and so on can only optionally be applied. But desire to use, or we can say there is a provision to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, no whimsical desiring, of course. This is the advantage of the Vishaya Saptami over the Paranimitta. With the Paranimitta, the thing mentioned in the 7th case has to have already been applied. Otherwise, there is no question of it following.
Yeah.
But with the Vishaya Saptami, the thing mentioned in the 7th case doesn't have to have already been applied, because the Vishaya only refers to the domain of something that could actually be applied later on.
Mm-hmm.
When there is a Vishaya Saptami, the Karya is done in anticipation of the application of the Pratyaya.
Wow.
This was something very good.
Yeah. This is such a nice example of a piece of information that you could easily
So-
just learn on your second time around.
Yeah, I mean, I was
And even like I'm learning on the, like I went through this and this was never a problem, but now it's like, oh yeah, that's nice extra information to know more.
so a good one actually.
Yeah.
Vishaya Saptami and Paranimitta. Okay. Krishnat ta inaha.
Hmm.
Do you see any point to discuss here?
No. I was just seeing this in Nityam Sutra near Desha usage, just explaining why we see Sandhi not done in sutras.
Yeah. One more thing we just like sort of connected together. So one thing is that we have that sutra, Ishvara Harimitraha Karebhya Siddham Bhutesha, that one.
Yes.
So when we have examples like Spoti Dhvam. So basically the point is, although the E of it is a Vamana, is an Ishvara.
Yeah.
But
doesn't count because it's Vyavadana.
It's considered primarily as Vyavadana.
Yeah.
Similar instance we discussed today is Vamana Sitrutama. Okay. Gopaya. Yeah. Yak. Yuktate. Gopaya Yuktate. Here also, of course, we have the sutra Arama Haro Ramadhatuke. But just like we have the sutra Vamanasya Trivikramo Krit Krishna Dhatu Kitara Ya Pratyay. 1 minute. Was it this one? Let me just check it.
I mean, that technically could be applicable here.
Yeah, but I think that was a different example. Gopaya Yatinat, Vibhaya. I think it was Vibhaya. Vamana Vaishnavabhyam, Serharo, Vaishnavi Natvitaha. Oh, that was there, Natvitaha.
Oh,
okay.
So that would be usually in 2-1. Tas.
Yes. So we were discussing that one, right?
That's also there in Gupu. In Gupu plus Tas, there's 3 versions.
So we get this form Agopsit.
Yeah.
Agopsi or Agopsit, whatever.
Yeah. That's in Padapada, yeah. But in Atmapada, you get Agopayishtaha, you get Agopishtaha, and you get Agoptaha.
Yeah, so the point was there we have some dhatu, I'm just forgetting which one exactly. Then we have it. We have C, and we have, I think it was Tam. Yeah, Tam.
Okay.
So, just like id vyavdhani tuva, it is not considered as purva nimitta, it's just a vyavadhana. Similarly, although it is an Ishvara by nature, Irama. Similarly, Irama here is by nature Vamana. But Vamana Vaishnavabhyam Sirharo Vaishnavi, it doesn't fit here because there is a specific mention Natu Itaha.
Yeah.
Just like two connections of similar kind.
Yeah. Not do it that.
The sixth case singular form ta in the sutra is irregular. Krishnat ta inaha. Usually, when mas is applied after ta to form the sixth case singular, the arama haro yadu sarveshwarina tvapa is applied, and we get ta. However, the Shashti Vishnu Bhakti mas is irregularly deleted here on the strength of the sutra. The sutra referred to here is Supam Luk Purva Suluk Purva Savarnat Che Yada Dya Yaj Ala. A sutra that describes, among other things, the Luk Mahahara of the Sups, sometimes seen in the Vedas. Okay. When mas is thus deleted, Aram Haru Yadu Sarveshwarana Tvapa no longer applies in accordance with the maxim Nimitta Paya Naimittikasya Papaya. Thus, we get the irregular sixth case singular form ta. In this way, to clearly instruct the rules of grammar, Jiva Goswami is again employing a Vedic device, the deletion of swadis, just as he uses the nasalized vowel Savishnu Chapa Sarveshwara to distinguish indicatory letters. So he has to use the Vedic thing here. Suluk Purva Savarna. In accordance with the maxim Eka Varna Vidhir Ante Pravartate in this vritti, we understand that although the words of the sutra literally say a Krishna becomes Trivikrama, because Krishna se Trivikramam Gopale. When a Gopal follows, the actual meaning is that the final of a Krishna becomes Trivikrama when a Gopala follows. So that's how it is. Okay, it's saying the same thing. Krishna his eyes. Yeah, this one is good. Vahana Koparata Vanutami. This type of rule is a Vishnu, of course, and not this and this. An agama that has the indicator letter ta is connected with the following element, and an agama that has the indicator letter ka is connected with the previous element. Have we come across any example of the second one?
Yes, Nuk.
Nuk, we inserted Nuk.
Purvam Nukcha.
Tat Purvam Nukcha.
Yeah.
That was Dadi Asti.
Tat Purvam Nukcha. Dadi Astis, no. Inan Pusha, no. Swan Yuvan, no.
No, Pathin Mathin Rubukshin, that one.
Say again.
Pathin Mathin has to do with Pathin.
Yeah, Pathin Mathin Rubukshin Nitya Shanasahara. So Patyadinam Samsara Haro. No, Patyadinam. Patyadinam. It's Krishnastane Tat Purvam Nukcha, but I can't remember the middle part. Patyadiram E Ramasya Ramaha Krishnastane Tat Purvam Nukcha. Yeah.
Yeah, Patyadinami Ramasya Ramah Krishnasthane That Purvam Nukcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had That Purvam Nukcha. Then Para Sambandhi means Pratyaya Sambandhi, Purva means Prakriti Sambandhi. Because according to the definition of Vishnu insertion, it comes in between Prakriti and Pratyaya, which we read yesterday also. So thus, because Nut is Pratyaya Sambandhi due to have the indicating letter ta, it joins with the Vishnu Bhakti Am. Tatra tinmitau sarvatra agamau shnavam vina uganta kitcha. So this is a paribhasha. Paribhasha. What's the difference between Sangha and paribhasha? Sacha, no.
Sangha just names something, right?
And paribhasha is
Paribhasha gives some rules, like guidelines.
Yeah. So all 10 mitau, they have to be considered agamas everywhere. Paribhasha.
Can I ask something to clarify about that? The ta, that Krishna ta in a sutra. I was looking at. So, what's being said is that the sandhi wasn't done intentionally, so that the sutra would be understood, and also that the sixth case pratyaya thus was just deliberately left out,
Deleted.
So what was that? That it was like an optional application of this sutra he's referring to from Panini.
Oh, Anityam Sutra Nirdeshi.
That was the one about
the sandhi, right?
Russia. Yeah.
What about the Vishnu Bhakti? How is it that he was able to not apply the Vishnu Bhakti?
He did not apply it. He deleted it by a sutra that is used in the Vedas. And we read the sutra. And that sutra allows for the deletion from swadis, some suadis. So he's giving another reason. He's giving another reason to people that would ask for more, basically. He's saying, oh, and we can also do this if we wanted to say it like this. Ta could stay like this because there's this sutra in Panini in the 7th Adhyaya, where in some Vedic verses, there are swadis that have been deleted by this sutra, and he quotes the sutra. And he says, Sutre Balena, or Sutra Balena, on the strength of the sutra.
So basically, on the strength of that sutra, then he's saying that that's an optional form for ta, is to just delete the sixth one.
Yeah. He's not trying to say that it's like a regular optional form you would use. He's just giving some precedent for it. Basically, from what I gather, just to satisfy somebody who is criticizing.
Yeah. Sure. But it seems like his intention was just to make it very immediately clear what is the meaning of the sutra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the other difficulty is it doesn't have a 6 case ending, but it has a 6 case sense. Because it's Krishna ta inaha, so it should be in Shashti Vibhakti because it's supposed to be the Karyasthana. It's the thing that turns into ina, to in. Or ina, yeah. So that's the other problem, is it should be Shashti Vibhakti. But so he's trying to make it clear, and he's also needs to put it in Shashti Vibhakti, but if you put it in Shashti Vibhakti, it's not clear. So he uses the sutra from Panini to say, oh, it is Shashti Vibhakti, but it's Shashti Vibhakti that has had the swadi deleted. Therefore, we have Krishna ta inaha. Is that right, Prabhu?
Yeah. That's right. And because he also mentioned in Sarva Ramar Vritti that now on all the sutras will be dealt with these prangnimitas and so on.
But yeah, because in Sandhi Sangha, he didn't do that.
Right.
A little different.
So that's why he's clarifying, this is an exception and authentic one, not just out of whims.
Because if he put taha, then we would think, what is taha? You know?
Yeah.
You'd be able to find out, but it wouldn't be until some sutras later when the Arama Haro Vishnu Padante comes. Arama
I mean,
Hare.
if I believe
Yeah.
that if there was no sutra like that which he used to delete that swadi, then he would have done taha only and would have given in the vritti that it is the sixth form of taha.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
see. Yeah.
So, because Jiva Goswami, he really takes care of the Purva Pakshas that would come
Yeah.
in time to come. So,
Thanks.
this is a paribhasha, even though Shlam has the qualities of an agama, in that it has the indicator letter ma and comes between the prakriti and pratyaya. Tatra tin ta and ma. The phrase Shnam Vina excludes spelling mistake. It from being an agama. It will be described later how Shnam is both called a vikarana and a pratyaya, which we studied in Akhyata. Shnam kranati. Yeah, Shnam will come ahead. There is actually ati vyapti in this definition because pratyas like Vishnu Bhakti ta also have the indicator letter ta. In those cases, Sankshodhan is in those cases, the ta is an indicator letter by pratyaya adya jata ma pa. That was the vritti of tatra jatasha, that one. However, for agamas, ta can only be an indicatory letter if it is the final Vishnu jana. Interesting. See Siddhopadeshe Antya Vishnu Janascha in Vritti 152. Thus, it would be more proper to say things that end in the indicator letter ta or ma are always agamanas. Good point. Because the sutra says things that have the indicator letter ta or ma are always agamas.
What's the Sanskrit? Yeah, tatra tinmitao.
Tatra tinmitao. Tatra kutra. Then nud. Because we inserted nut and it has ta ram as it.
Yeah.
So it's talking of there. And also generally also. Tatra tinmitao. Sarvatra agamau shnamam vina.
So tin and mit.
Ta
Mit
and
and mit.
Yeah, good point. Because then ta and pratyas like that will also be considered agamas. But can't we say that pratyas are also, the swadis are also agamas?
Yeah, I wonder about that. I don't know. Well, they're pratyas, huh? So are pratyas agamas? I don't think so. Because we have prakriti and
right.
pratyaya.
Yeah, then prakriti would also be agama in one sense.
I think that's probably why it's not ativyapti, because it's already defined as a prakriti, so it's naturally not being talked about. Because the it letters they're defined specifically for the prakritis, and then it letters are defined for the other things as well. So I think Jiva Goswami just understands that we're only talking about, adeshas, agamas, etc. We're not talking about the prakritis themselves or the dhatus, because I don't know. Yeah, there are places where ta is used in dhatu as well, right?
Yeah,
Like duo shvi, is that ta or ta?
that's ta,
Ta. Okay.
tuoshvi.
So I don't know if it's used, because if it's used in dhatu, then we would also have ativyapti. But yeah, I think it's not warranted actually what he's saying.
Now I'm also trying to connect the point we were discussing yesterday to this point, that dvitva, considering them agama or not. So according to this definition, it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it's an agama.
But I'm also thinking that is this definition complete, or regarding what is agama and what is not agama?
Yeah. I mean, you have to be bringing some other thing. With Dvitva, you're not bringing anything from outside, right? You're just reduplicating.
Yeah.
So there's nothing coming in.
Okay.
I wonder, one other thing is, you already said that when something is called a Krishna, I don't know if that's relevant, but when something is called a Krishna, it just means it ends in a Krishna. So maybe that's the same with this Tin Matau. That concept isn't applied there. I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I didn't get it fully.
Like when we have Krishna or Krishna Sitrikama Gopale is better. It's just referring to the last letter.
That's talking about what's
That's
qualified.
something else. Yeah,
that's
maybe
talking about what's qualified for the karya.
I see.
So if you have a karya like Trivikrama, which can only apply to one letter, because Trivikrama, you can't make a whole word Trivikrama.
Yeah.
Then naturally, what you apply that to is the final letter, ante, of the word, rather than the middle letter or so. So it's a rule that just explicitizes where that change should take place by default.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. This is just saying tatra, tit, without. Wherever those are agamas. And so then Shamshodini, whatever you're saying, that this is a little bit.
Actually, saying tatra also looks incorrect, because the previous sutra was just Vamana Gopi Radhavya no Dami, where it is just the Tarama as indicated letter. Like if we go back at the beginning of this chapter, then we have the sutra which mentions all the pratyayas, suojas, amaushas, and so on. And then the next sutra following is tatra jatasha. Then it matches that out of these jatasha, whatever these letters are indicatory.
Yeah.
But here the previous sutra is just mentioning nut, which only has ta as indicatory. Then saying tatra there in that regard. I mean, looks like ativyapti.
How so? How so? How does it look like ativyapti?
Because it just mentioned ta in the previous sutra, and here they are mentioning ta also and ma also. So they should have only they must be talking of ta only in the sutra, if it's mentioning to the previous sutra by the word tatra.
Well, tatra could just mean the type of insertion that we have with nut, because we do that with other things, huh? Like nuke, and so it's like the same type of insertion that we're doing.
Like tatradav chaturdasha. So there tatra refers to all the varnakrama.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I was thinking tatra.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
because you're saying tatra should be referring to something that should only be referring to something that was previously mentioned. But,
yeah, and
but
that is
mitagama wasn't previously mentioned.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I was just seeing it in like tatra means in regards to things like nut, which are inserted in this way. Whenever you see something that is pitagama like nut or also mitagama, then you'll see that they're always agamas.
Right.
And then
Because
he
then
gives the vritti.
introduced and uganta and kitch. And so all these things are added to show, because basically, I guess that explicitizes that tatra means whenever you have something inserted like that, because this is the first time we insert something that isn't a pratyaya and isn't a prakriti.
So then he gives in the vritti to clarify the yata and the ityadi. So that maybe whatever lack of clarity is in the tattva, maybe that's the vritti makes up for that.
Hmm.
That also makes it clear that he's not talking about the pratyayas, because he gives these as examples. So that's what he's talking about. So it's not Ativyapti because he gives in the vritti the specific examples of what he's talking about. So it should be clear from that.
Also, just the fact that Amrita doesn't pick up on it.
Which one?
That Amrita doesn't pick up on the idea that this could be Ativyapti. You know?
Sure.
Sure, Bala also doesn't. Otherwise, he would just quote Bala.
I think the readers get more aggressive as the time rolls down. Because if many times if we like compare Sankshodhani with Amrita and Bala, then Amrita and Bala, they're very peaceful, going with the flow. But Sankshodhani comes up with it must be like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're right.
And actually the name itself is Sankshodhani.
Clarifying. Totally clarifying. It's actually a bold statement.
Sankshodhani.
Samshodhani tika. I will clean all of your other tikas. Anyway, he's done a great service for Bustanis.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's nice looking at it's nice to see the polished look of the Madhyama, because we're using the PDFs of the complete version. And so it's just nice to see the polished look, how everything's, clean. And
it makes me wish they would have finished the Brihad version. And
me too.
It's like the whole Tadita Prakarana, they just said, anyway, not important.
who's gonna get that far anyway?
I mean, if one person does,
Yeah.
I mean, I know many devotees who studied Harinamamrit and they were taking help from these PDFs, and they got stuck in their study because while they were studying Tadita, because they didn't give any commentaries there.
Yeah.
And translations too. So yeah, many devotees I like.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that by the time I get there, then I'll know Sanskrit well enough that I can just read Bala or Amrita.
Maybe we can also work on the main points. We can note down some main points, sutra-wise or something like that.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah.
Would be a service from our side then.
Yeah, certainly. Finish it.
Just
upload it. It should definitely be done.
Well,
someday, somehow.
I'm sure the Haridas edition has some Hindi explanation, Prabhu.
No, not really. No.
No? Oh, it's all Sanskrit, huh?
I mean, first of all, that's Laghu version. Laghu, it's not even Madhyama, it's Laghu.
Haridas Shastri version is in full?
He has two like versions. One is
one is just the sutras and some commentaries.
Sutras and vritti only, not even Amrita Bala. Nothing.
Oh, I see.
And one is the Laghu version, which is in Hindi. So he gives translations for the sutras in Hindi.
I see.
Along with the sutras. Mood. So he doesn't even give, I think he gives vritti there or not, I'm not sure. So, but no commentaries and no translations.
I see. How many sutras do you remember?
In Laghu?
Yeah, in his version of the Laghu.
I don't remember exactly. We did a countdown. So it was around 500, 600 something.
Oh, yeah, very small.
I had that, the version PDF or something, scans.
Are there commentaries, Bala and Amrita, on that section
Yeah.
at the end? It's there. That's good to know.
Yeah, the commentaries exist. Yeah.
Yeah, that is there. The Moola commentaries.
Yeah.
So the Laghu one is here. Sankshepa Harinamamrita Vyakarana.
Oh, yeah, there's this. They say this was written not by Haridas, actually. This was supposedly written by either Sanatan or Rupa Goswami.
Oh, yeah, he just printed it. I mean, published it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are
What's
like
that?
the total.
What's that?
It's called Sangshepa Harinamamrita Vyakaranam. It's alleged to be the book that Jiva Goswami based the version off of.
And some say Rupa Goswami did it.
Yeah, and some say Sanatana Goswami.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this text has commentaries for the Tadita section.
No. No, the commentaries are on Jiva Goswami's.
I see. But this is like a Mula text for the Harinamamrita Vyakarana.
Sangshepa, the small version.
So it has 757 sutras.
I see. Yeah.
And the pattern here is like this. Let me just show you. So he gives sutra. Okay, he gives the vritti also.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gives the translation of the sutra. Looks like he gives the translation for vritti also. But there is no Amrita and Bala.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that.
That's interesting.
It's like if you need to do crash course of Harinamamrita for someone, just go Laghu. Maybe for 5-6 months something. Yeah, and Harinamamrita done. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow then.
Okay.
I think
Tomorrow maybe we can start with that PDF you shared, Prabhuji. Scholastic grammar maybe.
Oh yeah, you want to look through that? Yeah, I'm reading that now.
We can look through that in the class tomorrow.
that'd be nice.
I'm practically going to memorize that book because it's already helped me so much. Not literally, but I'll read it many times until I understand everything in it. It's helped my commentary reading a lot. It's a very good book.
That was quite obvious. A lot.
Yeah, it's the first book Hari Parshad actually gave me when I was first starting to learn. Like I didn't even know the alphabet yet. He said, I'll send you one PDF, which will help you. And it took me 2 years for it to even be usable at all, because it's so, you have to really have the basics.
Right.
But it goes into all these constructions and the way they use different samasas and, all of these abstractives like ta and twa and the way they use them and the different ways commentators use participles to mean different things. Just the last week, I've started studying it in depth again since I have a little time, and it's been really nice. I'm making flashcards with it, with all the examples so that the concepts stick. It really helps with things like
we can also like go through and see in the classes also.
Yeah, it'll be really good. I mean, it's one thing that would be great as an advanced level class, if anything, to take the concepts from it and to teach it. I think it's open, so we could just, it could just be taught, but it would be a great course just to bring people through that book next to Sridhar Swami's Bhagavad Gita or something,
Okay.
Great first introduction to reading commentaries, for the people that get that far.
Okay, sounds good. So we can go through it maybe tomorrow and then let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Good morning.
Good night.